today I'm going to build this dog bowl holder for my little buddy Louie, my kid's dog. Something like this, not exactly like this. I used AI to come up with this. I said, can you make a dog bowl holder with metal legs with a dog and 2 beer steins? And it came up with this. AI's not there yet. I mean, but it's kind of neat. It's a neat toy. But you see, it had the trouble getting the beer stein. It seemed to confuse the beer stein with the dog. I don't know why, but I don't think I'd be jumping into Mr. Tesla's self-driving car just yet. I don't know if this is his idea of a beer stein. What's his idea of getting it home safely? I don't know. But anyways, let's see what happens. Let's see where this goes. Now, I already purchased this totally adequate and totally inoffensive bowl holder at Winners in Toronto, but I decided I should probably make one instead. Before I even begin this, I have to stop and think if it's even worthwhile. Why not simply just put this in a box and mail it and be done with it? Dog won't know the difference. My kid would still appreciate it. However, much like that crappy keychain that we made for our parents in grade school, sometimes a handmade gift has a personal quality that elevates the gift and kind of helps negate my poor workmanship. And if that Winners gift cracks, you throw it away. But look at this. My kid made me this when she was 6 years old. It's a pencil holder for my desk, and it's overglued and the sticks have fallen off, but it's iconic. This I bought at a dollar store. $2. This I like, but this I love. Louie's a stubby little bugger with tiny legs. I'll put his picture on screen there. But he doesn't like to eat from a metal bowl like this. Bizarre. He doesn't seem to mind the taste of his own ass. But while I really don't know why, I bought these glass dishes instead. So I'm going to custom make the holders to hold these glass dishes, because that's probably easier than teaching him to speak and tell me about the metal hang-up. Anyways, let's give this a go. Whew. I could go on all day like this. This is just a fraction of what's here between the studio, the workshop, the shipping container, the storage shed, the garden shed, the 2 different, oh yeah, anyways, there's a pile of it out here. And my friends who are mostly smarter than me, which isn't really saying much, are like, Dave, you're hoarding wood. Just get rid of it. They call it indoor firewood, but I don't see it that way. I look at this, I have no idea what kind of piece of wood this is, but I look at this and I see a family heirloom. Yeah. It's not firewood, it's a family heirloom. You know how many of those little pencil holder popsicle stick things I could make with all this crap? A lifetime's worth. So I'm gonna root through this and I'm gonna find a suitable piece of wood for my little buddy Louie's project, and yeah, I'm gonna love it. He won't know the difference, but I'll feel good about it. Alrighty, this is the arts and crafts part of the program. So I'm trying to figure out the size here. So I've got my 2 glass bowls. They look like silicone implants, but never mind that. And we're gonna put them down here. And then I'm just gonna take this marker and I don't know, how big should this be? Maybe something like that, and then this will go in the middle. Yeah, well, wait, no, a little bit of space. Here, what we're gonna do, we're gonna put a little Louie face in here. Oh, my Sharpie's drying out. It'll look better than that. And then we'll write his name underneath in some kind of banner. So, what is that? That is, I don't know, I think if we call that 16, I'm going to say that's going to be 16 across and then 8 inches down. I think 16 by 8 is good. And we'll keep it about maybe an inch thick in material so that it's got a bit of weight to it. Heavy enough that, Buddy's not going to move it around on the floor when he's eating, but I don't want to make this too big. Yeah, make it too big, it's going to be like a tripping hazard in the kitchen, and I don't know. Some kind of drunk dancing going on at their house one day and someone trips over this. My kids are lawyers, I gotta be careful. So 16 by 8, I'm gonna see if I can find a piece that matches that. All right, well, here it is. The piece I've selected for the final project. It's in kind of rough shape. It's got a bit of a bow to it, or a twist, or a cup, or whatever you call it. What kind of wood is it? No idea. If it's not plywood or MDF, I have no idea. I should call it Greg wood because my buddy Greg brought it over, and he's kind enough to share some of the offcuts with me from his place, so many thanks, Greg. But it's in rough shape. You can sort of see, I'll get a proper flat thing out here, but you can see this is in rough shape. So let's assess that first. Alrighty, here's what I've done. I've gotten serious now. I've got my Bucket Boss apron on. Still wearing the pants though. I've taken this piece of MDF, which is pretty flat. It's about the flattest piece of wood I would have in the studio here. And I've cut it 13 inches wide so it'll fit through the planer. And then I've put this little anchor piece on the back to stop this from sliding around on top. And then I took a couple of shims, just regular cedar shims from all the doors I hung crooked in my house. And I've put the cedar on here and I just glued it down so that this is, actually I should probably glue this to that too, shouldn't I? Yeah. If in doubt, put more glue on. If in doubt, glue it. Words to live by. So I'm going to glue that down so it doesn't wobble around. And then I will send it through the thickness planer. But before I do that, air bubble. Before I do that, I'm going to just trim off these little excess pieces on the outside edge here. But I'll get a little close-up shot of this. But you can see now, look at that, Rock of Gibraltar. Works pretty good. Thanks, Stumpy. Yeah, I'll give this a trim and then I'll bring the thickness planer in and we'll see how that works. Alrighty, so we're glued down. I just need to put a little reference mark on here. And then cut this off. Easier said than done. Ah, there we go. Okay. All right, there we go. And here we go, rolling the thickness planer into the workshop area, out of the studio area, because it's clean. Into the thickness planer, watch me clench my ass, because this thing scares the shit out of me. Listen to the noise it makes. It's like death. It's like a little box of death. Here, listen to this for 1 second. Oh. Fun stuff, eh? Woo! Ooh, it's still sexy, very sexy. Yeah, I got some burn marks on here. I think I need to put more paste wax on here and some paste wax on here. I can see there's a little bit of grime on here that's probably holding it. Not to mention my in-feed and out-feed tables, I think they're too short. But maybe somebody has a better idea, they can let me know. You did notice I switched the feed in opposite because the glue is holding. This almost isn't doing anything now. So anyways, I'm gonna break the glue seal, flip it over, try and get the thickness closer, and then move on to the next step. Alrighty, back into the planer. Some pencil marks on here to ensure that the entire surface does get planed. Clench up, on the way. And look at that, looks nice already. I'm tempted to glue the bowls on and call it a day. But I won't, I gotta justify these tools to my wife. Alrighty, out of the thickness planer, but it's still too thick. Coming in at just a shade over 2 inches, which is too wide, so we're gonna have to cut this slab in half. Rolling the thickness planer out of the workshop area and into the studio. Rolling more tools back into the workshop area. I mean, I really should just get rid of all this wood that's taking up all the space because it's pointless to move all this stuff around all the time. But I can't throw the wood. It's like they're my children. They gotta stay here with me. Alrighty. At 2 inches thick, this is about a little bit too wide, so I need to cut this in half. Get to be around 3/4 or maybe an inch. And I could put this through the thickness planer a bunch of times, but I'd probably pass out from punching my ass that long. So I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get rid of one of these live edges, this convex curly out one. And yeah, I'm gonna get rid of that on the jointer, and then I can run this through the table saw and cut it in half. At least that's what I think I'm gonna do. So let's roll the jointer in and square this edge up 90 degrees. So I'm truing this up on the jointer that, you know, kind of looks like a bit of a toy, but it works really well. I have no idea how to use the hand plane I've had for 50 years. I mean, it taunts me on the wall that I really should just donate it to somebody with more skill than me, but, you know, I cling to the notion that someday I'll figure out how to even sharpen it. So I think my dad owned this one, actually, and I never seen him use it either. All right, if you think this looks a little bit sketchy, it is. I'm gonna hold this. I made this little thing and I've anchored it to the fence on my table saw. And I'm gonna hold this, because this ends are not square. I won't have a problem cutting this side, because the bottom's flat, but the live edge will be a bit of an issue. So let's try it. What's the worst that can happen? Here I am at the bandsaw, completing the cut. Notice that the kerf is much thinner than the kerf on my saw. So why not cut all this on the bandsaw? Forget the table saw altogether? Because I suck at using the bandsaw, and I can't make a straight cut on this to save my life. So I got a little bumpy in the middle from the kerf being a little bit thinner. Let's move stuff around and get rid of that. I take out the little bump in the middle at the planer, time for another glute workout, and the fact that I made one side of this flat already is coming into justification. This looks pretty good. A couple little nicks and stuff on it, but that'll all come out. It's starting to dawn on me here that I'm spending way more time in the pursuit of a quality that the dog really doesn't need or will appreciate. But nonetheless, here we go. I cut off the snipe with the chop saw, and the piece is ready for the next step. But now, I realize I've probably employed about $10,000 worth of tools to make both a mess and a piece of wood I probably could have bought for about $3 at Home Depot. But, anyways, totally unrelated, but if I ran Home Depot, I'd take out the professional's desk, and I'd put in a bar. People like me, we don't want advice, but we do like a drink. Now to use even more technology for Louie's little treat. I head to the computer to make a design in Photoshop to put Louie's name on the bowl. I do this as if there's any way the owners will mistake this for something they should be eating out of. Idiot. Whew. That took a while. I feel like I need to shave and a haircut. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to use if you're a woodworker in 2025, you probably already have a computer. Might be a filthy PC thing and some kind of CNC. This is like a 10-year-old Mac. I just leave in the shop to just for stuff like this. I'm not going to do a tutorial on the CNC because I don't know what I'm doing. So there's no point to me actually trying to point stuff out that's helpful because it probably won't be. But nonetheless, hang in. Let's see how this works out. I'm going to use a program called Easel to actually drive the CNC. And if you want to design something yourself, you can do that in Photoshop or Illustrator. Like there's a plethora of places. I'm pretty proficient in Photoshop. That's one of the few things I'm good at. But I don't know Illustrator at all. I've got like 3 minutes of experience on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get the computer to talk to the robot, design a little file with Louie's name on it, and then see how that works out. Who knows? So in Photoshop, I've come up with this design of Louie. using a bit of AI and a little bit of, looking around. I come up with, I'm not a designer, by the way, so go easy on me. And I put his name on here, debated whether, is it IE or Y? I don't know, but, well, fuck, he can't read, so what does it matter? Anyways, these are my different colors for the inlays in epoxy, and I'm gonna see if I can get this to work out on the CNC. Wish me luck. All right, so in the CNC, no big surprise, I don't really know what I'm doing here. But I did figure out that whenever you're putting in these letters, the bolder the letters, the easier it is to epoxy. Because as fine as this router bit is, I think I'm at a 1/32nd of a bit, you can sort of see, I had to go in and try and jury rig parts of these back in here because the little inset parts, some of them broke off, which is a pain in the ass, but what are you gonna do? So anyways, I got them, I re-glued them back in, and then I'm going back in here with the syringe and I'm sort of filling in these areas. It's kind of like playing Operation when you're a kid. Fill them all in, and then after each color, you gotta wait a day for it to harden and then go back and use the CNC to cut out the area that abuts up to it. So a bit of a juggling game going, okay, well, what's gonna be the biggest area first? So I decided the red would be, put the red in, and then I run the CNC for the black next after the red's hardened, and then I fill in all that area of the black. It's kind of a mess, and to be honest, I didn't really know what I was doing here, but it kind of more or less worked out. The mistakes that I sort of fell into weren't really through the order or anything. They were just through, I don't know, poor workmanship, I'll say. So once I put the black in, I gotta wait for that to harden, and then I go back and I put the little highlights for the fur in. And that worked out okay, I think, more or less. And then go back, after the black's hardened and the beige is hardened for his skin, I go back and I put in the yellow for the beer stein, and also the white for the foam on the beer mug, and also there's a little bit of white in the eyes. So I'm cheating a little bit with a Sharpie here too. I don't know if you noticed that, but put the yellow in. Kind of looks like bird shit on his face here, but that's okay. That's the last color that I'm adding. So I've got the red, the black, the beige, the yellow, and then the white. And then once it's all put together and you have those layers sort of built up, you run it through the planer one more time, and then hopefully, if you haven't buggered up like I did here, it comes out looking like that, which, woo! But you can see my little mistake here. Oops, a little alignment issue. Alrighty, here she is. And I fucked it up. I don't know if you, well, here, let me bring it in close. I don't know if you can see, but in here, like across the bottom, you can sort of see this little white line. So I either made the red part too low or the black part too high. I'm not sure, but yeah, not really sure. But as I said, I don't know what I'm doing. So I did it again, but I'm not taking you along on that journey again because we've already been down that road. So here's my new one. And I don't like this wood as much. This is, I don't know, is it oak? I don't know. But I still got these little white lines around it, and I don't like them. But I think I can Sharpie them over. I think, because every quality woodsman has a Sharpie. Anyway, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to cut out the little circles here, make the legs, sand it, blah, 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 blah. So let me take you along on that, the final steps of this, and then we'll do a little recap. Alrighty, let's do that. Whew! Right back from the store. Because I think what this project needed was more tools. I bought this spindle sander because it was on sale. Why not? I got nothing better to do with my money, right? Yeah. Because this looks like shit. That's really rough. Do a little detail on this. And I think that this spindle sander is going to clean that up, I hope, and make it a little bit smooth. Is anyone going to see it? No. But I'll know. So here we go. No expenses will be, spared in my little buddy's gift here. So I'm going to give this a go. Let's see how it works out. Okay, I found some, I got some scrap metal around in here. And I think I'm gonna make these legs out of metal, like a little frame. We'll cut these off, stick them in here, and then place it around the outside evenly. Cover up my mistakes over here too. And then a couple of little stubby legs to match the Louie stubby legs. Anyways, let's see if this works. Okay, so I'm using one of these little mini bandsaws, I don't know what they're called, this little king thing. And I'm cutting the metal to 90 degrees. So I'm rough cutting it. And then I take it over and I clamp it onto my welding table and I cut it at 45 degrees with my grinder, with a little cutoff wheel on it. And what am I doing? I'm shooting all that hot sparks right into my feet. And I'm wearing Crocs. What an idiot. And what's behind me on the shelf? Safety boots. What an idiot. Alrighty, I got these cut. I think also too, it looks like I cut it with a jigsaw, they're so crappy. Grinding is gonna be to my metalworking what sanding is to my woodworking. They're just to hide my mess. But I think this will work. A couple little things I gotta do though. I don't like the way these end pieces, like see how they're not really, not that they need to be 90 degrees, but I think that's too extreme, so I'm gonna cut that off. And I think maybe this looks a bit too big now, so I'm gonna maybe grind that down and hope I don't bugger this whole thing up. But well, I never claimed to be a welder. Anyway, so back into the studio. My wife came in and had a look at this and she's like, you got too much going on here with this brace and the legs and overkill, man. Simplify it. So she said, why don't you just cut out this center part, like cut these out, pull them out, bing, bing, and then turn the outside edges up and there's your legs. It's like, God damn, she was right. I hate that. So I took it over to the drill press. Well, first I put a little starter hole in here so the drill could find it. And took it over to the drill press and I made a little hole here so I could get the screwdriver through. And anybody else have one of these containers of oil that never seems to run out? I think I've had this since the 60s. Anyways, put a starter hole in and went in and made the hole a little bit larger so that I could get the screwdriver and a couple of screws in to affix it to the bottom. Then I went over to the Bamboo Mini and I printed out these little caps to go on the bottom, just so that the legs don't scratch the shit out of the floor. I mean, nobody wants a gift that wrecks their house, no matter how cute the dog is. Put it through the planer one more time. This just cleans up the last minute epoxy, and then it looks pretty good at this point. It comes out and you're like, okay, there's a little bit of blade mark on it, but it almost looks like I know what I'm doing. Round overs to make the areas where the bowls are, just so there's not a sharp edge, also to hide a little bit of my crappy workmanship. And then I use this thing by Arbortech. I think it's called a power planer or turbo planer. And it just sort of grinds off the wood really quickly. It's fun to use. But this part's a little disheartening. It looks pretty good, and then you take a sander to it and you're like, and it looks crap. But don't panic. It all comes back whenever you sand it again and you take the tack cloth to it, and you put a little bit more polyurethane on it. And all is not lost. It ends up looking even better once you sand it, and it's just a little disheartening at first. Nothing special with the legs. A couple of real wood screws to hold it in place here. And then after they're in place, I put these little caps back in that I printed on my 3D printer. They're a bit small, but I don't know. This ain't NASA. All done. I think maybe I might give it one more sanding, actually. I don't think you can over polyurethane something. I don't think. So I think maybe I'll give it one more coat, then package it up. Hopefully the little bugger likes it. Hopefully my kids like it. Hopefully my kids like it and appreciate, you know, and it keeps me out of the old folks' home when the time comes for another week or so. But as Jimmy says, you go to school on the first one. This is my third one that I made. I did one, didn't like the epoxy that I got. I didn't like the CNC bits. I had some alignment issues in Photoshop, which is too bad because I like these boards better than the one I have, but what are you gonna do? But I do have, I think I got about another half a dozen of boards similar to these. If you're interested, I'll put an email address up here, let me know. I think for $100 I would do this again, I think. It's not worth well, yeah, I would, sure. Anyways, thanks for joining me on this. Appreciate you coming along for the ride, and I'll see you on the next one. I gotta go walk the dogs now. Thanks.